Welcome back to the Marvel Movie Minute, a daily podcast which we disassemble a film from the Marvel Cinematic Universe into 1 minute segments and then examine it in obsessive and occasionally hilarious detail. I'm Kyle Olson from the Swashbuckling Ladies Debate Society podcast.
Hey, and I'm Rob Cabasco. And Kyle.
Yes, sir.
An award, sometimes called a distinction, is something given to a recipient as a token of recognition of excellence in a certain field. When the token is a medal, ribbon, or other item designed for wearing, it is known as a decoration. Thanks, Wikipedia. I went to find. I was like, okay, awards. A decoration. Yes, decorated. You can hear the term "decorated soldier."
Right.
Like that's why. Okay, history of awards. It kind of can go back to ancient times. I mean, Romans would erect statues or columns or arches, and these would all be in particular, awarding of distinction to various gladiators, soldiers, all different types of people, mostly for brute tasks of strength or in battle. In the United States, the Presidential Medal of Freedom and the Congressional Gold Medal are the highest civilian awards here in the United States. If you went to the world and said, well, what's the biggest award the globe gives? I think you would say it's the Nobel Prize. I mean, I think that's pretty much understood. And that is named after Sweden's Alfred Nobel. He was a chemist, engineer, inventor, and entrepreneur. People probably know the story. One of his inventions was dynamite. And as a result of that, he felt that he realized that dynamite would be used for ulterior purposes instead of just moving mountains and other things. And so he wanted to recognize the advancement in very good, life-giving pursuits. And that's how we have the Nobel Prize.
So it's about a person who made weapons and the later half of his life trying to do something different, pivoting, and trying to redeem all the terrible things they did. I don't know why you think that would be relevant to an Iron Man conversation.
Wow.
Rob.
Okay, here we are, the final minute of, and it is really we'll explain. Do you realize the synergy? Like I didn't even have to do anything else. I was like, here, let's see. Let's throw these dots out and let's see what happens. And boom, there we are.
Yeah,
done.
Look at that. Because here we are at minute 117 of Iron Man 2. And this is the last minute of the filmed portion of the movie. From here on out, it's credits, and then there's a little post-credit thing kind of happening on there. But this is the actual end of the Iron Man 2. This is where Iron Man 2 comes in. The post-credit scene sets up another movie, but this is the end of the story for Iron Man 2.
If you break it up for us, 118, there's a second of but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but we thought we would just roll it into this one because,
Exactly.
Yeah, 10 frames, whatever it is. It rolls over into the next one. So here we are, minute 117 of Iron Man 2, 2010, directed by Jon Favreau. We are in the end of everything. No, at the end of Tony Stark's debrief by Nick Fury. And so at minute 116 ended, Tony Stark agreed to take on the consultant job that he was being offered in this Avengers Initiative thing that I'm sure will just fall apart instantly. But he wanted a favor. So now we get to find out what that favor was. So Tony says, Rhodey and I are being honored in Washington, and we need a presenter. And Fury says, I'll see what I can do. And so that is a picture wrap on Samuel L. Jackson, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey.
That's it. He's done. That's his last shot for Iron Man 2. He gets to go home and look at the vast amount of films that he has improved just by showing up. Sam Jackson, the first person to sign a 9-picture deal with Marvel, which just seems like an insane thing to do at the time, but has paid off very well for him. So we love Sam. He's great in this, and I think isn't he the most bankable star in Hollywood? Because the stuff he's been in has been always in the top 20. Yeah. He's amazing. But yeah, so it's interesting that Tony doesn't specifically say what he wants, but Nick already knows exactly what he's going to do.
That's the implication, right? I know what you're talking about. Right. Sure.
The presenter raises eyebrows, ... And Nick's like, yeah, I got it. But interestingly, according to the Marvel timeline, this conversation, the award thing happens 3 hours later. So it's that fast that Nick is able to wrangle this thing and do it, because this is later that same day. Supposedly, this is the presentation. That's why he's there.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I would not have thought that. Right.
I know. It's those guys are really good at doing their homework and figuring this kind of stuff out. I would not have said that either, but according to that, if you go by them as the timeline, then yeah, this is later that same day. But before that happens, then we get to hear a familiar riff start playing. Because it's Akadaka. That's right. AC/DC's Highway to Hell starts playing. So Jon Favreau in the commentary talked a little bit about this, and he said that he wanted to use AC/DC in this movie specifically to have those kind of couple moments, and he actually got to meet them to talk to go about it. So when he, through the management stuff, he actually sat down with a couple, I think Angus and I can't remember who else it was, he said, sat down and had a conversation about having a movie in there. And it turns out that they didn't know that AC/DC music was going to be in Iron Man. Like, it was one of those things, they did it through the record company or whatever. Management signed off and allowed him to use the song, but the actual band had no idea. So they went to see the movie and were like, hey, that's our song. And they thought it was so cool that in this really cool moment, their song is playing. And so they're like, yeah, all right. And so he's like, when they came time to have this conversation, they're like, no, that'd be great. Yeah, do whatever you want. We thought you were great then, so good. You want two? Sure, you got two songs. Like, they were super cool about it. And Jon Favreau was just over the moon because he's been a AC/DC fan. He's seen them live a bunch of times. He's been like one of his favorite bands since he was a kid. So it was a dream come true for him.
Can I tell you this, though? As everyone knows, that's cool in a story of musical artist, some other type of genre that wants to use their music.
Yeah.
That's a happy ending.
Yes. Yes. It usually does not go that way.
Because it usually doesn't. I thought, thank goodness. Thank you, AC/DC,
right,
on behalf of everyone who's a fan of these movies.
For those about to rock, we salute.
But because it could have gone with, so we heard about this and we went and saw the movie and it sucked.
Yeah.
And we said,
like,
no way.
You better add a couple zeros to that check, Mr. Hollywood.
Tell ya, Def Leppard. Come on. We know there's a whole story about, I say that. Do you know the story
There's
about
a lot of bands.
Well, no, like Def Leppard refused to have their stuff in the Broadway version of Rock of Ages.
Oh, interesting.
And they were just like, no. I think I have the story right. If I'm wrong, sorry, Def Leppard, because I love Def Leppard. And then when they did the movie version, which don't waste your time, but all apologies, Mr. Cruz. But then they're in it because they were like, oh, it's a movie now. Sure. Put our music in that. No. Crying out loud. Okay, anyway. Yeah. So this song, Highway to Hell, Australian rock band, of course, AC/DC, opening track of the 1979 album. I've always wondered, so is this just a song about the road to damnation? Like, what is it about?
Or is it just like there's a town they don't want to go to and they think of it as like, oh, I don't want to, oh, don't take me back to Perth, whatever it is. I don't know what.
So I didn't know. The song is referring to the trials and tribulations of touring as a band.
Oh, right? Yeah, that makes sense.
Right, I mean, totally understood.
It's AC/DC's version of Wanted, Dead or Alive. That's the first touring song I could think of.
And the inspiration for this was the Canning, I think I have that pronounced right, Canning Highway, which connects the Perth-Kiawanna Freeway.
Oh my God. I just threw Perth out there. I had no idea it was actually going to be relevant.
To its port, Fremantle, and was home to many of their favorite pubs and hotels, including the Raffles Hotel. So the idea is, yes, the Highway to Hell was the place where they would go to unwind after craziness of touring. There you go. Wow. It all connects.
Okay. So then we cut. I don't know why it's an awesome song. I don't know why it's relevant here. Like why during the medal ceremony is Highway to Hell playing? But okay. I mean, it's still cool.
Well,
okay. All right. Go ahead.
Let me espouse here. Let me do this. The idea is that, well, first of all, it's just cool because that first riff, you know what that is, and it just sounds it's badassery. So fine. Yeah. Here's the deal. Tony is a narcissist. What way do you grow as a narcissist? You get awarded a medal by the person, like one of your mortal enemies that you've seen at the beginning of the movie. So, hey, Tony, if you continue down this route, guess what? Not good. That's the first thing. Second thing, did I already mention it? It sounds cool.
It does sound cool.
That's all.
Because it immediately cuts to Senator Stern. That's right. It's Gary Shandling. So he says, like through gritted teeth, it is my honor to be here today to present these distinguished awards to Lieutenant Colonel James Rhodes and Mr. Tony Stark, who is, of course, a national treasure. And I just love the fact they brought this was additional photography. So this was like a thing an idea they came up with after the movie had been shot.
Oh, okay.
So they were like, "Oh, you know what'd be really funny is if we, and so they called Gary Shandling, hey, can you come do one more day?" And so they brought him back out and shot this thing, it really is very, very funny. Like when that shot. As soon as they cut to him, it always gets a laugh of like him up on the podium. You're like, oh!
Well, wait. How is the movie going to end?
I don't know. I mean, maybe I can't think it would end with him and Nick Fury talking.
Well, no, because
I would guess maybe him driving off into the sunset, like hops in his Audi and like waves as he's like going down the.
No, that's the next movie.
Driving into Jersey. Yeah, I know. I'm looking ahead.
No, wait. Well, I wonder what the plan was before this, because this is perfect. Like,
right?
What are you? Okay.
Maybe it ended on the roof.
Oh, maybe. Well, based on that deleted scene, maybe. Yeah. That wouldn't be a surprise. Okay. This is way better. Now, let's just say politicians, okay?
Uh-huh.
What I love about this is, hey, listen, if you're a politician, you know this. You get handed a lot of things to speak, to say.
Yeah.
And you don't necessarily agree with all of them.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I remember there's an episode of West Wing where they're supposed to be speaking to, I think, trout fishers of America or something. And they had a speech written out, which had an opening line about where they were. And it got moved indoors because of rain. And so then as the president is going up to speak, the speechwriter, Sam Seaborn, goes, "Oh, I forgot I was supposed to do something." And they're like, "Oh, what?" He's like, "Oh, it doesn't matter." Because they're like, "Oh, the president's he's a polished speaker. He can improv on the fly." And so he's in this closed ballroom. He says up there and goes, "As I look out on this magnificent vista."
Oh, Bartlett, come on, just no.
Sometimes you shouldn't let Bartlett be Bartlett.
Yes, on the napkin.
That's right.
So no, like I love Gary Shandling. Just delivers all of this so great because he's in this position. He is a person who normally would be able to hide all of his disdain and cannot.
I'm gonna say I think from this moment, this is where he joins Hydra. Because of this, because Nick held it over him, and he's like, "Oh yeah, spoiler for if you and then maybe Jasper Sitwell came to him and be like, so I don't really like Nick Fury either. There's some friends of mine who also don't like Nick Fury. Maybe we should have a conversation with them, and we'll see about getting your re-election campaign funded too." See? Oh, interesting.
Hubris, narcissism, all those things don't
get you in the end.
That's the issue. That's why the song's playing. That's why all this goes down. Oh, jeez.
So then we cut to him actually pinning the medals on. So he first, of course, is Lieutenant Colonel James Rhodes, Rhodey. So he says, "Thank you, Lieutenant Colonel, for such an exceptionally distinguished performance. You deserve this." And he seems sincere about it.
Yeah.
Senator Stern is actually saying this. And so Rhodey says, "Thank you, sir." We get a close-up of him pinning it on. And as we got that close-up, I was like, wow, he's got a lot of decorations, as you mentioned before. I'm like, what are those? So I went online and found someone has actually gone through and listed what all of Rhodey's personal decorations are. And they haven't even broken down. So there's personal unit awards, service awards, campaign and service medals, service training and marksmanship awards, foreign awards, and other accoutrements in what they call the fruit salad. That's what a lot of them can call all that there. So here's what all of them are. Now, obviously, I only found a single source for this, so I'm not going to say that this is 100% what it is, but I do like the fact that someone took the time to actually go through and see what these are. So under his personal decorations, Rhodey has the Defense Superior Service Medal, the Bronze Star, Meritorious Service Medal with 2 bronze oak leaf clusters, third award. I'm not sure what third award means. Air Medal with 1 bronze oak leaf cluster, second award. Maybe if you've gotten it multiple times. Like, he's gotten the Meritorious Service Medal 3 times, so he got the medal, then he gets 1 Oak Leaf Cluster, then he gets a 2nd Oak Leaf Cluster?
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay. So the Aerial Achievement Medal with 2 Bronze Oak Leaf Clusters, that's his 3rd award, the Joint Service Commendation Medal, and the Air Force Commendation Medal with 1 Bronze Oak Leaf Cluster, 2nd award. So then his unit awards, he has the Joint Meritorious Unit Award and the Outstanding Unit Award with 2 Bronze Oak Leaf Clusters, 3rd award. For his service awards, he has the Combat Readiness Medal with 1 Bronze Oak Leaf Cluster, 2nd award. His campaign service medals, he has the National Defense Service Medal with 1 Bronze Service Star, 2nd award. The Armed Forces Expeditionary Medal, the Southwest Asia Service Medal with 1 Bronze Service Star, the Iraq Campaign Medal with 1 Bronze Service Star, the Global War on Terrorism Service Medal, and the Armed Forces Service Medal. I know, but he's a highly decorated, and these are the decorations that he is highly decorated with. The Service Training and Marksmanship Awards, he has the Air Force Overseas Long Tour Service Ribbon, the Air Force Longevity Service Ribbon, which he's gotten 4 times, the Air Force Training Ribbon. For foreign awards, he has the Kuwait Liberation Medal. That's interesting. So he served in Kuwait, so Desert Storm or Desert Shield. And then for his other accoutrements, and this is finally the end of the list, people, is the Command Pilot Badge and the Master Acquisition and Financial Management Badge, which, wait, what?
Wait, yeah.
That's the other one. And they're like, oh, hold on. So he balanced the books, and so he gets a medal for that. I don't know. Honestly, don't know. So somebody could, if you have this medal, let me know what it's for. I don't want to disparage it when it turns out it's really, really hard to get. But sometimes when you look at versus the Kuwait Liberation Medal, having the Financial Management Badge next to it seems a little like, oh, so did you need to fill out the set? Like you just had one Lego brick missing. You needed.
Money is important. So
that's true. It is very important.
Yeah.
So maybe that's Maybe he balances Tony's books. Who knows?
Jeez.
Those are Rhodey's decorations.
Now, one thing I'm not sure people know is when you see the fruit salad, and this is on the dress uniforms of military personnel, every single one of those is an actual medal. So, and I only know this because when I was watching this, I remember my dad has his medal from service in Vietnam. Mm-hmm. When you are awarded it, in the presentation box, you are given the actual medal and the small ribbon version of just the ribbon that is attached to the medal so that you can add it to your fruit salad that is then for your dress. I don't know a lot of people realize that. Like that's every single one of those ribbons. That's because it is just the mini version of the full medal. Obviously, you can see images. There are some military units all throughout the globe. Yes, people really like wearing all their medals. Uh-huh. It gets a little crazy, and plus you'd walk with a limp because it would be very heavy. But no, that's just really neat to see this. And then the medal he's given. Do you know what's the actual the one that Rhodey gets? The actual medallion?
I'm not sure. I think it's one of those, but I'm not sure.
But then what would happen is that eventually, if he wanted, he would then be given it so that he could add just that red and white ribbon to the fruit salad. Yeah. And that way, then he would have those all there. This is cool. And yes, Stern he seems very sincere.
Yeah. When he steps over to Tony, he seems less sincere about it. So he says, Mr. Stark, thank you for such an exceptionally distinguished performance. And then take a pause and he says, you deserve this. And then he pins it on him, but it seems like he doesn't do a very good job of pinning the medal on him because it seems like the pin goes all the way into Tony's skin, like through all of his stuff, right in through past his jacket, past his shirt, past his undershirt, like right into the thing. Because then Tony actually winces, and then he says, "Oh, sorry. Funny how annoying a little prick can be, isn't it?" and then pauses us, let's get a photo. And then he turns and stands and puts his arms around both of them.
I remember seeing this the first time, and I found this, as everybody I'm sure does, this is absolutely hilarious because it kind of comes out of nowhere. Like you don't expect this, like because you don't expect that word used right in this movie. Like, I mean, that's not because again, they're gearing for a certain audience. You don't expect it. you wonder, how does Stern get back at him, or will he? Right? Because he's obviously uncomfortable. You can see he's kind of surly about all this. And to get that line in and to kind of humble Tony a little bit, because Tony, you can tell, is just like, oh, that was good.
Yeah,
that was good. That was very well done.
On that one, yeah,
very well played. Just to note on the medal that Tony gets when you see it, sort of as Stern is taking it. This is the Distinguished Service Medal from the United States Army. It is presented it's presented to soldiers who have distinguished themselves by exceptional, meritorious service to the government in a duty of great responsibility. That's interesting that this is the one. It's different. It's different the one than Rhodey gets. Yeah. But you can absolutely see that if you freeze frame it, that is the medal. It's basically looks like the insignia of the United States Army with the eagle and the American shield in front of it in gold. It is encircled with a blue enamel, basically just a border, and it says for distinguished service. And it usually has the date. I don't know what the date is. It's in Roman numerals. But this was established in 1918, and it was first awarded on January 12th of 1918. So it's been an award for over 100 years.
So is this something that the military is giving to Tony? So this isn't an award from the president, right?
Yeah, that's the question, right? I mean, and I'm wondering, I think, and I could not find, we both checked, find the exact medal that Rhodey gets. Right. I would assume the one Rhodey gets is the Air Force. I mean, you know what I mean? Like the equivalent of that. Why he gets, this very well could have been this is a prop master, right? This is what we're going to use. We need a medal.
Yeah. It looks pretty much the same.
Yes.
Kind of different, but pretty much the same.
And again, if anybody finds anything out about that, we would love to know, because
we couldn't find it.
No.
That's a picture wrap on Robert Downey Jr., Don Cheadle, and Gary Shandling. So that is their last shot. So as I was thinking, as we get to then it's just like the three posts for a photo. The music kicks into high gear and then it ends. But I was curious about first lines, last lines. I'm always interested in the first thing. So I went back. So the last line of this movie essentially then is, "Oh, sorry, funny how annoying a little prick can be, can't it? Let's get a photo." So I was like, okay, that's your last line of Iron Man 2. What's the first line of Iron Man 2? So what I'm choosing for my criteria is first line said by a character in the movie. So technically it starts out with the press conference from Iron Man 1, but I'm not counting that because that's all reused dialogue from there. So but by that qualification, the first line of Iron Man 2 is, "Ivan, that should be you."
Oh. Okay. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff in there.
Yeah.
We began with the press conference that ended the first movie.
Right.
We're ending with another press conference.
Yes, we are.
Adulation. Earned or otherwise.
Yeah.
Yes. Interesting. What did we begin with? One of the early episodes, The Fall of Tony Stark? I mean.
Yeah. And also, funny how annoying a little prick can be, can't it?
Wow. All right. Can I add about Gary Shandling just does a great job of this, in that after he has, basically he's presented both of them. He's gotten his dig into Tony. And then, of course, the consummate politician says, when he says, how about a photo? He slips himself between the two of them.
Yeah.
They're not moving out of the way for him. He just slips in, gets his arms around him, and then he starts doing the duck face pose, oh yeah, everybody. Yeah, let's get a picture. That's right. These are my boys.
It's me and Iron Man and War Machine.
No, these are my guys, right?
The politician.
And then the best part is we see this right as the end of the minute. Tony flips up the peace sign, and Gary Shandling gives this face you son of a gun. And then Don Cheadle he's not smiling through any of this. Flashes finally a smile way to go, Tony. Yeah, because I hate this too. This is horrible. There's so much just in the little mannerisms of this that I've always enjoyed. When this movie ends, I always have a smile on my face.
Yes. Yeah, they do a nice job of that. It's have you walk out with a joke, you know, as opposed to, something dire and serious. And
Kyle, I feel like I have more love for this movie now.
More? Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I know there's some issues and stuff. We talk about the issues, but I love it. All these little nuanced things that just add to the whole story. Tony Stark knowing this part of his journey and where it goes.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest with you, I teared up a little bit.
Aww.
These last couple minutes. I mean, I'm just like, oh.
Okay. Well, we are at the end of the movie, so Iron Man 2, the film, has come to an end, but the podcast is not over yet, so we don't need to have our final wrap-ups, final thoughts, looking back, because we still have a lot of hardworking people that get their names on screen. Even Jon Favreau talks about how he used to be annoyed by watching credits go by, but then once he started making movies, he realized all these people worked really, really hard on this, and they deserve their, 5 seconds on the screen for doing the work that they do.
And I will tell you, as everyone knows, you can't stop here because no one can make a list of names more interesting than us.
Ooh, interesting challenge. They did it in the first season of Marvel Movie Minute. And then we sort of found something else fun to do in the second season. So what's going to happen here in minute 118 when we have no new footage to talk about?
We're not going to.
You're just going to have to tune in to find out, because the thing is it a tease? Absolutely, it's a tease.
Yes,
because the movie has come to an end. The podcast rolls on, and we still have some fun stuff planned. So stay subscribed, because and don't forget. A little farther down the line, we still have another thing to talk about, because there's a post-credit scene. It literally is a post-credit scene, not a mid-credit scene. So we have to get through the credits so we can talk about that, and you don't want to miss that. So in the meantime, as you're waiting, why not head over to Instagram? We have our own Instagram account. It's @TheNextReel. We are talking about all the different shows that we're doing. Rob and I not only do this show, but we do have a couple other shows that we appear on. You can find out about all those appearances when you subscribe to us on there. And we're trying to make it as visually appealing as possible to appeal to all of you fans of fine art in the digital variety.
Oh.
We're trying to contribute our little part of it too. So
I like it.
@TheNextReel, subscribe. We guarantee we won't make your feed worse. Huh? Right?
Guaranteed.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
So I'll be back here for minute 118 when things are going to get, different. Enough said.
Bye.